Hello, my loves. Today we're going to look at some more Reddit stories, and if you've enjoyed a Reddit story, why don't you consider hitting the subscribe button? Maybe that's the notification bell too, and let's start with today's story. Choosing Independence. In the bustling city of New York, lived a young woman named Lily. At 28, Lily had a thriving career as a journalist, a beautiful apartment in Brooklyn, and a vibrant social life. Despite her achievements, she often found herself at the center of conversations about her single status. Lily's choice to remain single was a conscious one, rooted in her desire for independence and personal growth. Her friends and family were supportive, but curious. One evening, during a dinner party at her friend Emma's place, the topic inevitably came up. "Lily, you're so amazing. Why are you still single?" Emma asked, genuinely curious. Lily smiled, taking a moment to gather her thoughts. "I think it's because I value my independence and the freedom to pursue my passions without compromise. It's not that I'm against relationships, I just haven't found one that fits my life right now." Her friends nodded, some understanding and others still curious. Lily continued, sharing her journey of self-discovery and the reasons behind her choice. 1. Personal growth and career focus. Lily had always been driven by her career. From a young age, she knew she wanted to be a journalist, telling stories that mattered. Her dedication paid off, landing her a prestigious role at a top magazine. Being single allowed her the flexibility to travel for stories, work late nights, and fully immerse herself in her passion without worrying about neglecting a partner. 2. Financial independence. Growing up, Lily had seen her parents struggle financially and knew the importance of financial independence. Being single gave her control over her finances, allowing her to save, invest, and spend as she saw fit. She enjoyed the freedom of making her own financial decisions and planning for her future. 3. Exploring passions and hobbies. Lily had a wide range of interests, from painting to hiking to learning new languages. Being single gave her the time and space to explore these hobbies fully. She joined a local art class, spent weekends hiking upstate, and enrolled in a Spanish course. These activities brought her joy and a sense of fulfillment that she wasn't willing to compromise. 4. Social connections. Lily cherished her friendships deeply. She had a close-knit group of friends who were like family. Being single allowed her to nurture these relationships, spending quality time with friends, traveling together, and supporting each other's dreams. Her social life was rich and fulfilling, providing her with the emotional support and companionship she needed. 5. Redefining happiness and success. For Lily, happiness and success were not defined by a relationship status. She found joy in her accomplishments, her friendships, and her personal growth. She believed that being single allowed her to live authentically and pursue her true passions without external pressures. As Lily shared her story, her friends began to see her perspective. They realized that her choice to remain single was not out of necessity, but out of a desire to live a fulfilling and independent life. That night, as Lily walked back to her apartment, she felt a sense of contentment. She knew that her decision to remain single was right for her. She had built a life that she loved, filled with passion, adventure, and deep connections. In the end, Lily's story serves as a reminder that choosing a single life is a valid and fulfilling option for many young people today. It's a choice that allows for personal growth, independence, and the pursuit of one's dreams. For Lily, and many like her, singlehood is not a state of lack but a canvas for creating a rich and meaningful life. The love story of a friend. I couldn't sleep, so I thought it'd be a good idea to walk to the park and stare at the sky. So there I was, in my yellow t-shirt and blue shorts, reaching my destination. There I saw her, looking at the sky with ginger red hair coming down her shoulders and blue eyes glittering in the moonlight. It was Laura from my class. Her gaze shifted from the sky to me. "What are you doing here, this late at night, Aiden?" she asked. I never talked to her at school. She's one of the quiet kids in class. This is the first time I'm hearing her voice. And she usually wears glasses at school, but she wasn't wearing them right now. I took a seat beside her. "What are you doing here?" I looked her in the eyes. She shifted her gaze back up to the sky. "The moon's pretty. I always come here at around this time, every single night for stargazing." I looked up at the sky. "I couldn't sleep, so I came here," she giggled. "You couldn't sleep, so you came here to stargaze? Will that help you fall asleep?" "Well, what about you? Why are you always coming here?" I asked. "Like I said, I always come here, because I get bored and sometimes because I can't sleep. It's dangerous here, you know? You could get kidnapped or something." We chatted a bit and had fun. "Why do you not talk like this at school?" I asked. She shrugged. "I guess I don't like socializing. I'm shy and don't have friends to talk to." "Then how come you're able to talk to me?" "Well, something tells me that I can trust you." She smiled. "Well, see you at school tomorrow." "Good night." We both went home next day. I was walking to my class when I saw Laura and a bunch of other girls surrounding her. I saw one of them slap her and throw her glasses onto the floor. They walked away. I was running toward her. "Are you okay? Why did they do that?" I asked as I picked up her glasses and put them on her. "I'm fine. I'm used to it." "Thanks." She quickly rushed away. It was lunchtime and I saw Laura by herself. I walked to her and sat at her table. "Why are you joining up with me?" she asked with concern. "Is it against the law to sit with you? You seem lonely." I asked with a smile. "People call me a witch because of my red hair." "I hate this red hair. I think your hair is pretty." She looked at me and smiled. "Thank you. I knew I could trust you." I suddenly had an idea. "Hey, wanna go out on a date tomorrow?" "Are you confessing?" "No, it's just for fun." I guess I can go the following day." I met up with her at a cafe. We were sipping coffee. We talked a lot and had loads of fun. Shopping, restaurants, and then we decided to go to a movie. After we finished the movie, it was already night time. "Gosh, it's already 10. I've got to go home soon," I said, looking at my phone. "Can we sit at the park and look at the stars for a few minutes?" Laura asked. "Yeah, sure. You sure do love stargazing." We sat next to each other on a bench in the park. We both looked up at the bright crescent moon. I looked at Laura from the corner of my eye. She was completely fascinated. She caught me looking at her and smiled. She leaned against my shoulder and put her hand on mine. I like you, Aiden." She gave me a peck on the lips. Sorry, I didn't mean to dash." I leaned over, took her glasses off and locked my lips onto hers. She was surprised, but she put her arms around my neck. I put my hands on her cheeks and we kissed. "That was my first kiss," Laura said, blushing. "I've really fallen for you." I hugged her. "I've fallen for you too. Here's your second kiss." We kissed again. Story: how my 3-year relationship ended and how I acted. So my girlfriend, 42 years old, and I, 40 years old, met in 2020. We started as friends trying to improve our own lives. We met on social media through a company that sells life insurance and home/auto insurance. We really get along. We decided to meet and have a meeting at my house so I could begin the process of starting to work for the company. We had to watch a video and it was so boring. So we kissed throughout the video. One thing led to another and we collided after half an hour. We had fun and were like teenagers who met in a hotel and were bunnies. We went on a date and really had fun together. How wonderful. We talked a bit about moving in together and she was about to go on a business trip, so I offered to watch her house and take care of her cats. To her surprise, she agreed. She was away for a week, so that was great. She scheduled a veterinary exam and the vet said she was on vacation instead of working. I was angry because I would rather go with her if that were true. But that's not true. I called her and she told me she wasn't on vacation. I felt bad, so I sent her flowers and she loved them. She came home for the weekend and took me home. Over the next week, we went back and forth between our homes, and with her schedule, we got busier and busier, so we saw each other less but still talked and texted like crazy. One weekend she had to work the day I got home. She said I could stay the night, but I had to go home. We slept together that night and fell asleep in each other's arms. We woke up and I made breakfast for us both. She was working from home at the time, so we just did our own things. She worked and I cleaned. I guess she liked everything I did, so she invited me to move in that same night. I said yes. We are wonderful together. Over the next year, we were best friends and better lovers. One night we were having sex and during that moment I felt a little strange. My legs were a bit uncomfortable and tingling. With that came loss of sensation and I couldn't really get excited, if you know what I mean. I tried to finish like she did and I couldn't. We tried to have sex several times and sometimes we both got fortune cookies. I also started not feeling it as much there. During that time, I spent more time cuddling. Although I didn't tell her I was trying to make up for the lack of sex. Nothing worked and I felt less of a man every time we tried to have sex. It got to the point where I felt so bad, I stopped trying and started sleeping on the couch. She felt abandoned and I tried to explain my feelings. She said she understood and for a while she did. We gradually drifted apart but still lived together. At this time, my hips, back, and legs were getting worse. I lost my job and had to find another job. I lost those jobs too and started going to a deep dark place that I couldn't escape from. I started therapy and medication. Those medications did not help the physical aspect I was experiencing. It was even worse when I almost forgot that I had a downstairs. I got so bad that I lost the feeling of a full bladder. Back to the end of 2023, when we were both arguing and not meeting each other's needs. Now, a few weeks ago, she decided to break up with me. She said she wanted us to remain friends. I'm okay with that. Not even 24 hours later, she had a boyfriend and was sleeping with him. I'm so hurt. I became really dark and deep. I'm angry, I'm still in love, I'm losing my life. I'm losing my house. I do not know what to do. I don't know where to go. I have never been without a home, and here I lost everything. She and I are like oil and water, cats and dogs, KRYPS and bloods. I found solace at the bottom of a bottle of Jameson. I have no one to talk to but her. She has her friends. My mind is broken and my heart is broken. I have never been so crazy. I actually started talking to myself and answered, no lying. Today, I'm at my dad's one-bedroom apartment. Sleeping on couches and living in boxes. I thank God that I have a roof over my head, but I had to leave my life behind. I had other health problems before the new neurological problems. I'm still angry and still in love. I do not know what to do now. I applied for disability benefits and had to meet with a judge about the matter. Other than that, I don't know what else to do. A story about unrequited love. A story about unrequited love. This story is about a guy named Tom and the girlfriend of his dreams, Emily. Tom and Emily have been close friends for a long time, having been in the same class together since middle school. Tom always admired Emily for her beautiful appearance, strong personality, and gentle soul. However, Tom always kept his feelings to himself for fear of losing the precious friendship they had. Every time he saw Emily smile, Tom felt happy inside without daring to say it. As time passed, Tom kept his feelings a secret and felt increasingly uncomfortable when he could not share his feelings with Emily. One day, Tom decided to change and tell Emily about his feelings. He told himself that if he didn't say anything, he would never know what Emily felt about him. One weekend afternoon, Tom invited Emily out for coffee to talk. Under the warm sunset, Tom sipped a cup of coffee and said the things he always kept in his heart. He talked about his deep feelings for Emily, about the pain in his heart when he secretly loved her for a long time. Emily was surprised and silent for a moment, then she gently placed her hand on Tom's shoulder and said that she knew this for a long time. Emily explained that she always felt Tom's special care for her, but she was also afraid of losing the good friendship they had. She says that although she doesn't have the same loving feelings as Tom, she still wishes to maintain their close friendship. With understanding and courage from Emily, Tom realized that even if they did not become husband and wife, they could still keep their precious relationship. They continue to be truly close friends, sharing everything from joy to sadness, and Tom gradually finds comfort in Emily's presence in all its forms. The story of Tom and Emily's unrequited love does not have a fairy tale ending, but it is a lesson in understanding, courage, and the value of true friendship in life. Story: I cut ties with a longtime friend of mine because I couldn't keep the friendship anymore after an incident between us. Here's why. I never expected to find love in a place I dreaded, but life has a way of surprising us. The homeschool group was a last resort for my parents, a desperate attempt to find a community where I could thrive with academic freedom and find peers with whom I could be social. However, my initial experience was anything but positive. The people there were awful and shallow. Despite their claims of being Christian and inclusive, their structure mirrored a cult more than anything resembling Christ and His love. They certainly put the weird into the homeschool stereotype. Twice a week, I dragged myself to the group, dreading the interactions with my peers who seemed to find joy in excluding and ridiculing me. I only found solace in leaving the school day early and engrossing myself in a book as a distraction to avoid the coldness of the others. Yet amidst this sea of unkindness, there was one boy who stood out. He was tall, with thick black hair and piercing eyes that seemed to see right through the facade I put up to protect myself. His presence was a beacon of kindness in an otherwise hostile environment. I first noticed him when our eyes met in the hallway. There was something disarming about his gaze. It was soft, curious, and unlike the judgmental stares I had grown accustomed to. At first, I tried to ignore him. The negative impressions the entirety of the group left on me were too strong to allow any positive feelings to surface. Moreover, he shared the same name as someone who had been awful to me for years, a bitter reminder of past pain. But no matter how hard I tried, I couldn't help but notice him. He seemed to be everywhere I turned, always looking at me with those gentle eyes. He wasn't in my class, but he often found reasons to come into my classroom, goofing off with his friends. His antics were playful, his laughter infectious, and yet, he always seemed to be watching me. I would catch him staring, a soft smile playing on his lips. Despite noticing him, I refused to acknowledge my feelings. I buried them deep, convinced that falling for someone in this group would only lead to more heartache and hurt. Weeks turned into months without a word exchanged between us in person, but fate had other plans. We connected over social media, and soon we were texting every day. Those messages became the highlight of my day. We talked about everything, from our favorite movies and books to our dreams and fears. It felt like I had found a kindred spirit in the unlikeliest of places. Our late-night phone calls became a ritual. We would talk for hours, sharing stories and secrets, laughing and sometimes crying. I felt a bond growing between us, a connection that was deep and genuine. Yet, I still rejected his advances, effectively friend-zoning him. I was scared to let my guard down, scared to admit what I was falling for him. But he was patient, kind, and lovingly persistent. As we got to know each other, we shared more about our lives, our likes and dislikes, and our long-term goals. Surprisingly, we had much in common. We would pray together and for each other, and he showed me love in the most genuine, kind way without expecting anything in return. I was hooked, even if I didn't want to admit it. Eventually, I couldn't deny my feelings any longer. I confessed my love for him, and to my relief and joy, he felt the same. We began to date, albeit minimally, as we were both very young with strict parents. Our relationship was innocent and pure, built on a foundation of mutual respect and shared faith. Never had I experienced love the way he loved me. He listened to me attentively, with such care and genuine interest in what I had to say. He encouraged and comforted me through all the family issues that burdened me and always guided me toward Christ. Despite our apparent immaturity, our love was genuine and deep, and we were committed to growing together in our faith. Every moment with him felt like a gift, a precious memory to be cherished. His love gave me strength and hope, a light in the midst of my struggles. Our happiness, however, was short-lived. One day, he told me that his family had decided to move across the country. The news hit me like a ton of bricks, leaving me devastated and heartbroken. Despite our young age, I truly felt he was the one I was always meant to be with. Our connection was not based on infatuation or lust, but on a shared desire for and rootedness in the Lord. As if this news wasn't enough, girls around us, fueled by hatred and jealousy, started nasty rumors and began harassing me even more than they had before. The drama escalated, adding to the stress and pain I was already feeling. The combination of his impending move and the relentless harassment and lies from others broke us. I became bitter and devastated, fearing that I might never see him again. The days leading up to his move were a blur of sorrow and longing. We spent as much time together as we could, which ended up only being once, trying to make the most of the moments we had left. He held me close, whispering promises of staying in touch, but deep down, we both knew that things would never be the same. Then, the day came when he left. Him and his family, whom I had only met once but instantly fell in love with, were gone forever. Never before had I experienced such physical pain from immense sorrow. I felt my heart tearing apart. I had heard of people dying from heartbreak, and I fully believed this would be my fate. Compounding my grief was the fact that my home life was horrible, filled with constant fear and tension. My parents' arguments echoed through the house, and I lived in a constant state of anxiety. The sanctuary I once found in my room now felt like a prison. The weight of my sorrow was overwhelming, and I couldn't escape the pain. I fell into a deep depression, barely eating and working out an unhealthy amount to keep myself out of the house and away from my family. Exercise became my escape, a way to numb the pain and avoid the constant reminder of what I had lost. My phone, once a lifeline to him, now felt like a cruel reminder of the amazing man who was no longer in my life. I avoided it as much as possible, unable to bear the sight of our old messages and photos. For a time, bitterness consumed me. I was angry at the world, at my circumstances, and at the people who had driven us apart. But his wise character always shone through any clouds that loomed. Even in his absence, his influence remained. He had set the standard for what a man should be, for how I wanted to be treated, and for the type and level of connection I desired in a relationship. Despite our separation, I found myself speaking about him to everyone close to me. My entire circle knew of the amazing boyfriend who had sadly moved away. They knew of my sorrow, his sweetness and wisdom, and how, even in his absence, I remained in awe of him. I recounted our story countless times, each retelling solidifying his place in my heart. Years went by, and I tried to move on. I dated other people, but no one compared to him. No one could ever compare to him. Each new relationship felt like a pale imitation of what we had shared. I found myself constantly measuring others against the impossible standard he had set, and they always fell short. I tried to convince myself that I was being unrealistic, that I needed to let go of the past, but my heart wouldn't listen. Eventually, I settled and tried to make peace with the fact that I would never experience such perfection again. I met someone else, someone who was kind and seemingly loving, and I tried to build a future with him. We planned our lives together, a home, a family, future children. I loved him, but never as fully or deeply as I had loved the boy who had moved away. The spark, the connection, the profound understanding that I had shared with him was missing. As the years passed, I continued to cherish the memories of my first love. I realized that he had taught me invaluable lessons about love, faith, and resilience. His presence in my life, however brief, had left an indelible mark on my heart. Even though we were separated by distance and time, his influence remained, guiding me and shaping my understanding of what true love should be. In the quiet moments of reflection, I often found myself wondering what could have been. I imagined a parallel life where we had stayed together, growing and evolving side by side. But life had taken us on different paths, and I had to accept that. Still, the love we shared remained a cherished memory, a beacon of hope and a testament to the power of genuine, heartfelt connection. Then, I began being bombarded, nearly daily, by videos of interviews with the elderly. They were asked about their regrets and what they wished could have been different in their own lives. Many of them spoke about the one that got away. This struck me profoundly. These were people who had lived long, full lives, yet their eyes still held a glimmer of sadness and longing when they spoke of a love they had lost or let slip through their fingers. Watching these videos became a sobering ritual for me. Each story resonated deeply, like echoes of my own unspoken fears. The elderly men and women spoke with such raw honesty, recounting their lives filled with achievements, family, and adventures, yet always circling back to the one person they couldn't forget. They spoke of fleeting moments, missed opportunities, and the relentless passage of time that eventually solidified their regrets. It was in those quiet moments, listening to their heartfelt confessions, that I saw the path laid out before me. I knew that my future would mirror that of the elderly men and women in the interviews. The one that got away. I envisioned myself many years down the line, having accomplished my life goals in career, motherhood, monetary, and travel pursuits. I would have a successful career, a loving family, financial stability, and a wealth of experiences from around the world. Yet, despite these achievements, I knew a shadow of sadness would linger. At the end of my life, I would still feel a pang of unaccomplished longing, a void that success and fulfillment in other areas of life couldn't fill. I would have spent a lifetime not fully knowing or experiencing being loved in the way I had with him. I would miss the feeling of being witnessed by another, sharing the depth of my soul with someone who truly understood and reciprocated. The simple joys of life, appreciating the little things, laughing at inside jokes, and finding comfort in shared silence, would feel incomplete without him by my side. I imagined the unspoken conversations, the mutual understanding, and the sense of belonging that comes from being with someone who truly gets you. It was more than just love, it was about a profound connection, a partnership where we could indulge in life's beauty together. The thought of never experiencing that again filled me with a sense of preemptive sorrow. Little did I know, the Lord had a plan. The Lord always had a plan. In my moments of despair and longing, when the future seemed bleak and my heart felt heavy with regret, I had forgotten that my life was being guided by a higher power. The Lord's plan was always at work, weaving threads of hope and redemption through my story, even when I couldn't see it. The realization that my journey wasn't over, and that love and fulfillment could still be part of my future, began to dawn on me. Little did I know that I needed the time and experience with someone else to grow. In the aftermath of our separation, I found myself navigating through other relationships, each one serving as a lesson in patience, kindness, and love. However, I wasn't always the best version of myself in those relationships. There were moments when I said and did things I later regretted, moments that required excessive apologies and sincere efforts to make amends. It took those years away from my true love for me to realize the depth of my shortcomings and the areas in which I needed to grow. Through the heartache and challenges of those relationships, I gradually matured, not only as a partner but also as an individual. I learned to be more patient, more kind, and more caring, qualities that were essential for nurturing healthy and fulfilling connections. But perhaps the most significant growth occurred in my spiritual journey. It took time away from him for me to truly rely on God, to surrender my fears and doubts, and to trust in his plan for my life. As I immersed myself in prayer and sought solace in my faith, I found strength and healing in his unwavering love. Yet, the path to spiritual and emotional growth was not without its obstacles. There were months and even years filled with heartache, sorrow, and betrayal, each one testing my resolve and challenging my faith. But through it all, I clung to the promise of redemption and restoration, believing that God's plan for me was greater than any setback or disappointment. Then, after 6 long, agonizing years, fate intervened once again. My love returned to the state in which I still lived. The mere thought of seeing him again filled me with excitement and hope, even if it meant that no romantic relationship would result from our reconnection. I prayed fervently, seeking God's guidance and surrendering to his will. In the 7th year of his absence, in the 7th year of waiting and longing, the Lord's will unfolded before me. It was as if the number 7, often associated with completion and perfection in biblical symbolism, held a profound significance in my journey. In that 7th year, my hopes and dreams, which had been held captive by time and circumstance, were finally realized. As I prepared to reunite with him, I couldn't help but marvel at the mysterious ways in which God works. His timing, though often beyond our understanding, is always perfect. In those moments of anticipation and uncertainty, I found solace in the knowledge that his plan for me was unfolding exactly as it should. With each passing day, my faith grew stronger, my heart more steadfast in its trust in him. And when the long-awaited reunion finally came to pass, I knew without a doubt that it was the culmination of God's divine plan for our lives. In the 7th year of his absence, the 7th year of my journey, I found completion in his grace and mercy. I didn't need to be with this man again to find joy and fulfillment. The mere prospect of reconnecting with him, of having the opportunity to speak again after so many years apart, was enough to fill my heart with gratitude and happiness. I trusted that whatever the outcome, whether we rekindled our romance or simply remained friends, it would be according to God's perfect plan for our lives. As we reconnected and caught up on the years past and miraculous changes, we began to see the hand of divine intervention weaving through our lives. It was as if God had orchestrated every twist and turn, every moment of separation, to lead us back to each other. What a great and merciful God we serve! One of the first remarkable coincidences we noticed was how we had remained on each other's minds throughout the years apart. Despite only dating for a brief 5 months, he had occupied my thoughts for the entire 6 years we were apart. I found myself wondering about him, praying for him, and often pondering how he would respond to various situations life presented. And to my amazement, the feeling was mutual. He, too, had kept me close in his thoughts and had even considered me a standard for what he desired in a partner. Furthermore, the circumstances surrounding his unplanned and rapid move back paralleled my own reason for being single once again, safety concerns regarding the people we were living with. It was as if God had orchestrated our paths to align once more, removing the barriers that had kept us apart. Throughout the years of separation, there were also numerous uncanny occurrences that seemed to defy explanation. An influx of people with his exact name entering my life, so many that even my then-partner remarked on the frequency, knowing it reminded me of him. It was as though the universe was constantly reminding me of his presence, preparing me for our eventual reunion. The night before our long-awaited coffee meeting, I had a conversation with a friend about favorite scents. I described a particular scent that would occasionally waft by, a scent that inexplicably reminded me of home. Little did I know, my love and his roommate were having a similar discussion at the same time, discussing the importance of scent to women and how it often evokes feelings of comfort and familiarity. And when we finally met, as we embraced in a heartfelt goodbye, I unintentionally caught a whiff of his scent. It was the same scent I had described, his natural musk, the scent of home. After all those years, I had still remembered his scent. But perhaps the most inexplicable and profound connection we shared was the instant understanding we had of each other. It went beyond mere attraction or physical appearance. It was as if we could read each other's minds. Countless times, he would, and still does, look at me without saying a word, and I would know exactly what he was thinking. Our minds were in sync, our souls intertwined in a way that defied explanation. In those moments, it became clear that our reunion was not just a coincidence or stroke of luck. It was a testament to the power of divine intervention, guiding us back to each other and reaffirming that our love was meant to be. As we marveled at the intricacies of our journey, we knew that our connection was nothing short of miraculous, a beautiful testament to God's unwavering love and grace. As we reconnected and delved deeper into the tapestry of our shared history, we were met with a treasure trove of small yet profoundly meaningful coincidences that seemed to serve as the delicate threads binding our hearts together. One such enchanting coincidence was the fact that I had unwittingly set all my passcodes to be his phone number. It was a simple act done without much thought many years before, but it carried a weight of significance that resonated deeply within me. His digits became my digital touchstone, a constant reminder of his presence in my life, even as the tides of time ebbed and flowed. In return, he adorned his world with symbols of me, incorporating my favorite color into his artwork like strokes of love painted across a canvas. Each was a testament to the enduring bond we shared, a vibrant reminder of the beauty that blossomed from our connection. But the symphony of serendipity didn't end there. It seemed that the universe conspired to sprinkle our path with moments of enchantment, weaving its magic through the fabric of our lives. License plates bearing the insignia of the state to which he had journeyed appeared with astonishing frequency, like gentle whispers from afar beckoning me closer to him. My mother, attuned to the significance of these chance encounters, captured them in photographs, each image a snapshot of the enduring connection that transcended distance and time. As we embraced our reunion, we discovered even more delightful nuances that mirrored the depth of our connection. From sharing favorite flavors of candy to speaking the same love languages, every revelation served to deepen the bonds of affection that bound us together. Our souls danced in synchrony, moving in perfect harmony as if choreographed by the hand of fate itself. Even in the minutiae of everyday life, we found echoes of our shared history and a reaffirmation of the enduring love that had weathered the storms of separation. Simple habits, like folding pizza before indulging in its cheesy delight or meticulously balancing eggs in the carton, became cherished rituals imbued with layers of meaning that spoke volumes about the depths of our connection and similarities. In each of these small moments and subtle gestures, we found solace and joy, knowing that our love was not just a fleeting emotion but a timeless bond ordained by God on high. As we marveled at the beauty of our shared journey, we knew that every twist and turn had led us to this moment of sweet reunion, where our hearts beat as one in perfect harmony. In the gentle embrace of our reunion, as we basked in the warmth of each other's presence, the air seemed to hum with a sense of sweet anticipation. Every moment spent together felt like a precious gift, a chance to rediscover the depths of our connection and explore the mysteries of our intertwined destinies. Amidst the tapestry of remarkable coincidences that seemed to adorn our reunion, there was one revelation that shimmered with a brilliance all its own. It was the tender caress of his lips upon mine, the gentle brush of his fingertips against my skin, that stirred within me a longing I had never known before. For in the embrace of his kiss, I discovered a depth of passion and desire that had eluded me in the arms of others. It was as if every kiss was a symphony of emotions, each tender touch a testament to the profound connection that bound us together. In his arms, I found solace, comfort, and a sense of completeness that I had searched for in vain elsewhere. And as our lips met in a dance of longing and love, I knew with unwavering certainty that the tender touch of him was all I ever truly desired. With each passing day, our bond deepened, blossoming like a delicate flower in the light of newfound love. We embarked on the journey of rediscovery, peeling back the layers of time to reveal the tender shoots of affection that had taken root in our hearts. Every shared laugh, every stolen glance, became a testament to the enduring strength of our love, a love that had withstood the test of time and emerged even stronger on the other side. As we navigated the complexities of rekindled romance, we found solace in the knowledge that our love was not just a fleeting emotion but a steadfast anchor in the tumultuous sea of life. We leaned on each other for support, drawing strength from the deep well of affection that flowed between us. Together, we faced the challenges of the present and the uncertainties of the future with unwavering courage and boundless optimism. In the quiet moments of togetherness, as we held hands and watched the world go by, we marveled at the beauty of our shared journey. Every twist and turn, every obstacle overcome, had led us to this place of profound contentment and unbridled joy. And as we gazed into each other's eyes, we knew with certainty that our love was not just a chance encounter but a divine gift, bestowed upon us by a benevolent Creator who had woven our paths together with threads of destiny and purpose. As I reflect on our journey, I'm overwhelmed with gratitude for the unexpected twist fate has brought. Our love story, once interrupted, has found its way back into the light. It's a testament to the resilience of love, the power of divine intervention, the beauty of second chances, and a demonstration of God's perfect timing. Our reunion isn't just a chance encounter, it's a reaffirmation of the bond we share, a bond that time and distance could never sever. It's a reminder that love, when nurtured, cherished, and rooted in Christ, has the capacity to transcend all obstacles and reunite kindred souls. As I look to the future with Him by my side, I'm filled with hope and anticipation for the chapters yet to unfold. Together, we'll continue to write our love story, embracing each moment with gratitude and joy. And though our journey may have had its interruptions, I'm certain that the best is yet to come. Our forever seemingly interrupted, but never forgotten. Our love story continues, stronger and more vibrant than ever before. And as we embark on this next chapter together, I'm grateful for the twists and turns that have led us back into each other's arms. In the end, our love may have been interrupted, but it will never truly be lost. For true love, agape love, like faith, is eternal, transcending time and space to unite us in the bonds of everlasting love. And so, I will hold on to the memories of our time apart, cherishing each moment as a reminder of the strength of our connection. Together, we'll write the next chapter of our love story, embracing the future with open hearts and unwavering faith in Jesus. And as we journey forward hand in hand, I know that our love will endure, forever and always. Story: I'm in love with my best friend and I don't know if she likes me back. I'm currently a 21-year-old female in college, and I met this girl who recently became my best friend. We started hanging out more during the spring semester and we just instantly clicked, hanging out in the same friend group. Within this group, we started flirting in front of our other friends as a joke, and this continued for a while. I have always identified as straight and have only thought about dating guys my whole life. However, since I've become friends with her, I've been questioning myself if I like her in a different way. She's very touchy-feely with me. We're always hugging or on top of each other, taking naps together at school, etc. This is when I started liking the affection from her and constantly craving it. During this whole time, I had no idea if she even liked girls or not. Then, on the last day of school, she told me she's bi and that she might like girls. When she told me this, my heart raced with excitement. First, because she was comfortable enough to tell me, and second, because I might not be crazy and she actually could be interested in me. I've always gotten vibes from her that she might be interested, but I think she believes I'm 100% straight, so I don't know if that affected our relationship. It was really new for me to have these feelings of attraction for a girl, so I didn't really want to say anything about my sexuality because I literally have no idea. I don't like other girls, I just like her. We then basically started hanging out the whole summer, meeting whenever we could in our busy schedules, which was at least once a week. One day, while hanging out, I told her how I kissed one of my girlfriends on a drunken night out as a joke, just to see how she would react. This is when it clicked for her that I might not be completely straight, as I could see the shock on her face. We continued hanging out the whole summer, cuddling in bed, calling each other baby, and she would say I'm her girlfriend. I've never outright discussed my sexuality with her as both our families are very religious, and it's not something we could make public. So, we're basically stuck in the closet. We say we're dating as a joke all the time and play along with it to our friends, but I ended up catching real feelings. Fast forward, it's now the fall semester, and she's gotten very social and friendly with other people. I tend to get jealous sometimes when I see her with other people, even though she's literally with me 24/7, every second of the day. She recently told me how she finds one of the guys in our class cute, and that really bothered me. I would tell her, "Wow, so you're cheating on me now," and she would laugh it off and think it's a joke. I get so frustrated that she's interested in these other guys and acts like she's obsessed with them. She's so affectionate with me, and we're always touching, holding hands. I'll be holding her waist when we're waiting in line, holding her face, caressing her hands, etc. I get confused because I don't know if this is how best friends should act. I really don't think so. Moving on, we went to a party one night at the beginning of the fall semester and got pretty drunk. There were some pretty close calls in the summer where I thought we were going to kiss, so I made it my mission that night that I was finally going to do it. My whole plan went perfectly, and I finally got her alone. I'm pretty sure she's the one who initiated the kiss. I was planning on kissing her at that exact moment, but she went for the kiss first. I kissed her back, and we broke it off as some other people walked in to check on us literally 2 seconds after we broke it off. We spent the whole night giggling and being physically affectionate. When it was time to go home and I was waiting for my Uber, she was kissing my face with little pecks, kissing my neck, and even bit my neck. It was really difficult for her to leave me that night as she was going home with another one of our friends accompanying her. She asked me why I wasn't kissing her back while still clearly drunk, but it was in front of a lot of other people, and I'm not ready for anyone to see me kissing a girl. That same night, when she got home, I texted her about how she was a good kisser. That's the only time we acknowledged the kiss. Story: my ex ruined my relationship, and I want to warn his new girl. My ex, whom I'll call James, and I broke up last June 21st, 2023. I fell out of love, and James told me to split up. I didn't know what to do that time because I begged for him to rethink his decision, and maybe if we kept the communication, it would turn out great, or the sparks will come back. He insisted and we split up. A week after, James started hard launching a girl in his social medias. I don't really care because I've already fell out of love, but it's like he's been playing with me. A month passed and he contacted me, begging to get back together. Even asked for his friends to chat me to get back together with him. I didn't, of course. August of 2023, I thought James finally learned his lesson and I got together with an old fling, whom I'll call S, and I only got together until September of 2023 because James was sneakily telling S about everything I've said about him in the past. For context, S is like a balance of light and dark. When we were together in middle school, S and I would constantly fight. He would randomly ask me how to court a girl knowing damn well I liked him. Back to the story, I did say some horrible things about S to James, but I never knew that he would screenshot the messages and send it to S. I was shocked and also disappointed. I apologized to S, but he insisted of splitting up. James made up stories of how S is a cheater, and every guy I point would have a cheating background. Before breakup, I gave James a raw amethyst. Now that we broke up, I've been asked him to give it back for months. And even after we broke up and lost contact, he still didn't give it back to me. It was a raw amethyst that I entrusted to him, but since we split up, I want it back, it's valuable. He's not responding to my messages anymore and acts like I don't exist. Now, James is courting a girl, whom I'll call K. K is a very nice person and I don't want her to be with someone like James. K, if you're seeing this, he's told me in the past that you're not his type, and that he doesn't want to be involved with you. All I'm asking is for you is to run, don't let him try and court you. He's the worst. James once made sexual comments about me to his friend, and I was thankful that his friend didn't tolerate James' behavior. James also told that same friend that I have been depressed and would constantly H4RM myself, which is true, but he was making jokes about me and showing how insensitive he was towards my feelings and my S31 FH4RM. He's a liar and someone you should not trust. Never let a guy like him come close to you. And he also lied about his size. He said he's 6 inch and when I saw it, it was smaller than my marker. Disappointing. It won't reach far, Kay, don't bother. Also, I found out from a friend that he's been telling everyone about our intimacy, which he promised to never let anyone know. Kay, you deserve better. Story: Finding Strength in Solitude. In the bustling city of Seattle lived a man named Daniel. At 33, Daniel was a successful architect known for his innovative designs and attention to detail. He lived in a stylish apartment downtown and enjoyed a life filled with friends, hobbies, and adventures. Despite his fulfilling life, there was one question that seemed to follow him everywhere: why are you still single? Daniel had been in a few serious relationships over the years, but none had worked out. His friends were mostly married or in long-term relationships, and family gatherings often involved subtle, and not so subtle, comments about his single status. While these remarks stung, Daniel was determined not to let them define his happiness. One rainy afternoon, Daniel decided to take a break from his hectic schedule and visit a small, cozy cafe he had recently discovered. As he sipped his coffee and watched the raindrops race down the window, he reflected on his life. He realized that he had always been someone who found joy in solitude and personal growth. He decided to embrace his single life and focus on the things that made him happy. Daniel started by making a list of personal goals and adventures he wanted to embark on. At the top of his list was a solo trip to Iceland, a place he had always dreamed of visiting. A month later, Daniel found himself standing on the black sand beaches of Vik, feeling the cool Atlantic breeze against his face. The breathtaking landscapes, with their glaciers, waterfalls, and volcanic formations, filled him with a sense of awe and wonder. During his travels, Daniel met other solo adventurers from around the world. He bonded with a fellow traveler named Sophie, who was also exploring Iceland on her own. They shared stories of their journeys and dreams, forming a friendship that enriched their experiences. Sophie admired Daniel's courage to travel alone and pursue his passions, and their conversations helped Daniel see the beauty in his solitary path. Back in Seattle, Daniel returned to his routine with a renewed sense of purpose. He threw himself into his work, taking on challenging projects that pushed the boundaries of his creativity. He also took up photography, capturing the city's architectural marvels and natural beauty through his lens. His photos garnered attention, and he was invited to exhibit his work at a local gallery. One evening, while attending the opening of his photo exhibition, Daniel ran into an old college friend, Kevin. They hadn't seen each other in years and quickly fell into an easy conversation. Kevin was intrigued by Daniel's stories of solo travel and personal growth. They exchanged numbers and began meeting up for coffee and hikes, enjoying each other's company without any pressure or expectations. As months passed, Daniel's life continued to flourish. He found joy in his solitude and fulfillment in his pursuits. He and Kevin grew closer, and their friendship deepened into something more. Daniel appreciated that their relationship was built on mutual respect and understanding, allowing both of them to maintain their independence while sharing their lives. One day, as they stood on a hilltop overlooking the city, Kevin turned to Daniel and said, "Daniel, being with you feels like an adventure. I admire your strength and the way you've embraced your life. I'm glad we reconnected." Daniel smiled, feeling a sense of contentment and clarity. "Thank you, Kevin. I'm glad too. But remember, our happiness comes from within. We're choosing to share our journeys, not complete them." In the end, Daniel's story was not about finding love in the traditional sense, but about discovering and embracing himself. He had learned that being single at 30 was not a state of lack, but a canvas for creating a fulfilling and meaningful existence. His journey was a testament to the power of self-love, independence, and the endless possibilities that lay ahead when one embraces life wholeheartedly. Story: My wife said she loves me and her ex-boyfriend. To give context, I am 30 years old and have been married for 2 years to my wife Jane, the love my life. I am a pediatrician and earn a good salary, so my wife doesn't have to work. She and I have always been very close. We met through a mutual friend. It was quick, but even so, there was a very strong connection. I have always been somewhat shy and reserved, while she, on the other hand, is very sociable and likes to party. I have never had a problem with this since we have always had a very good relationship based on trust. A couple of months ago, I came home late at night after a long day at work. I was heading towards the bedroom when I saw Jane sitting on the bed, looking at her cell phone and laughing. I approached her, and she quickly turned off her phone, using the excuse that she was just talking to her sister. I believed her since I had a lot of trust in her. While we continued our conversation, she brought up the topic of Scott, her ex-boyfriend. I didn't have a problem with him since they had remained friends, and I liked him. She told me he was in town and that they were going to meet up the next day. I trusted her and didn't see it as something bad, so we left it at that. The next day, when I came back from work, also late, I entered my house and saw them sitting on the couch, chatting cheerfully. I couldn't help but feel a bit annoyed, but I tried to ignore it. I approached them and noticed how Scott got a bit nervous, and my wife reassured him. She told me she had invited him over to show him the house, and I didn't think much of it. We chatted, the three of us, and everything seemed normal, or so I thought. Things changed a week later. My wife told me that Scott would be staying for an entire month for work since he lived about 3 hours away from our city. While I was at my office, I received several messages from my younger sister, who is a 21-year-old girl close to my wife. She told me she had seen Jane and Scott at some kind of party together, kissing. She then sent me a photo taken from a distance where you could indeed see them kissing. I couldn't believe it. I was at work and wanted to die. I never would have imagined that my wife, whom I love so much, was with that man. I felt devastated. After finishing my workday, I returned home as usual, feeling sad. I entered and saw my wife. She greeted me with a smile as she usually did. I sat down next to her and told her what I had found out. At first, she denied it, but then with a sad look, she admitted it. She confessed that she still had feelings for her ex-partner, but that she also loved me very much. She said her heart was torn between Scott and me. She didn't want to leave the life we had built, but at the same time wanted to be with Scott. I felt terribly bad. I don't have the words to describe how I felt when she told me that. The woman I thought I would grow old with and loved me as much as I loved her was also in love with her ex. After that, without any shame, she suggested opening our marriage. I love her with all my soul, and it hurt me a lot that she said that. After arguing for a few minutes, I told her I needed time to clear my thoughts. She, with a sad look, told me to take all the time I needed but that she would wait for me. She then took her things and left. I cried for several hours. I had never felt so sad in my life. Jane, the woman of my life, loved another man. A month has passed since she left. I am not good at expressing myself with people and find it easier to write what I feel. I thought about posting my feelings here on Reddit to get various opinions since I still love Jane and what I want most is to have her back. But it still hurts me a lot that she wants to open our relationship. I don't know what to do or who to turn to. I went to therapy, but I can't find any comfort or solution. Please tell me what to do. I don't know if I was expressive enough in this text, but I still want some advice from any of you. I will give updates. Story: It's a love story. The following is the story of how me, 29M, and my wife, 30F, met and married. Like many other people, my freshman year of college was a roller coaster of emotions. Between adapting to a new life and schedule, trying to make new friends, and the unexpected death of my father, things were changing fast for me, and I was struggling to be my normal, extroverted, happy self. I became involved with a ministry in college, and this helped me find like-minded people who I could not only laugh with, but also have the ability to openly talk about my struggles. My wife was also involved in this same ministry. Over time we would have discussions, but nothing too in-depth or serious. We were friendly to each other, but never anything more than that. Flash forward 2 years and we begin to hang out more and more because of a reason I'll touch on later, and we became really great friends. This would not last long, sadly, as my wife was about to travel the world for the next 2 years doing ministry work in third world countries. When I say doing ministry work, I do not mean she was hanging at resorts 6 days a week and visiting an orphanage for an hour or so. She was truly in the trenches, spending her years in remote villages where they don't have access to electricity or running water. While she was on this trip, she didn't have the ability to talk often, but whenever given the chance, I would talk to her about her stories, and this is where I began to truly fall in love with her. There was only one small problem. See, the reason we began to hang out more and more prior to her leaving was because she began dating a close friend of mine. While she was away on this mission trip, my friend became getting extremely close with another girl. They would hang out regularly one-on-one, openly cuddle each other around others, but according to my friend, nothing more than that. I spoke with my friend about this relationship and how he was emotionally cheating, but he never listened or paid any attention. I felt it wasn't my place to tell my wife about this, because I believed my feelings that I was developing for my herb scared me from being unbiased. After years away, my wife finally returns home. Within a month of being home, my wife's friends told her about the relationship between my friend and this other girl. My wife was aware that they were friends, but she was not aware to the extent of how close they truly were. This led my wife to immediately breaking up with my friend. Now, you're probably thinking to yourselves, wow, this is great news for OP. You have to remember, the reason we became close was because she was dating a friend. Also, as my wife returned from her mission trip, I had freshly graduated college and moved 3 hours away, back to my hometown, to begin a career. I also believed in my mind that my wife was only friends with me because of the relationship she had with my friend. Nevertheless, occasionally I would travel to the college town and meet up with some college friends. When doing this, I would ask them how my wife was doing. They would always keep me updated, and eventually a mutual friend tells my wife that I have been asking how she was. This sparks our friendship as she begins texting me, but still, I lived 3 hours away, so I had no intention of beginning a relationship with her, but it was still nice to be friends again. My wife, being her caring self, began fostering a 2-month-old girl about a year after coming back from her mission trip. She did this while single and working a full-time job. Years pass and I am extremely displeased living in my hometown. See, my father was a small-town hero type of guy. Very well known and very loved. I worked hard to bring positive change in my community, but I felt every action I did I was always compared to my dad. People never meant to offend me by comparing me to my father, but I always felt like if I stayed there I was going to be living in his shadow. I wanted to forge my own legacy. One day I interviewed for a job in the town I went to college in. Somehow, I get hired. Over the summer I move back and immediately I am excited for a multitude of reasons. Soon after moving back, my wife and I begin spending a lot of time together. The 2-month-old girl is now 3 years old, and my wife and I do the silly thing and get married within 3 months of me moving. This became the greatest decision of my life. Since getting married, my wife and I have adopted the girl, made a few kids of our own, bought a house, and are truly living the fairy tale life. We've been married for several years and life couldn't be better. I tell this story because I want others to know you never know who the love of your life is. It could be a stranger, a friend, or a friend's girlfriend. This world is too short and crazy. If you made it this far, I hope you enjoyed the read. This is my first time ever really making a Reddit post. Bye and see you again in the next videos and stories.